Yes,
Be nice to your husband.
Nice but real.
Yeah,
I
of
just
course.
thought, oh, this guy, he's God, he's the lover of God and all that, but he's a skid. So,
And invest a time spent in marriage counseling is an investment in marriage.
love must be defined according to what the Bible says. Obviously. What should have been?
Ask the question again. No. My name is Pastor Leo.
My name is Kabwe.
We are the Kakungus, and this is how we met. So how did we meet? Let me take a shot. I think, there was a youth meeting at one of our, at our church, and they came through from her church, and one of my friends is the one who was sort of just showing me the guys, the ladies who had come, and from there, that's when I saw her, and I'm glad she's doing her arrangement because I was caught by the puff. So I think without going into the details, that's the first time I saw her and something in me leaped.
I think my version of the story, I don't really remember that introduction, but it should have been there. For me, the first time I feel like I met him as a friend and all that was, yes, at a youth meeting, but in camp. That's when I noticed him. Of course, we were not really talking. He was from another center, I was from another center. Yeah.
Well, I think for me, it's really the camp experience that she has mentioned. So for me, that was like, I had already taken notice of her, but when we got to camp,
He didn't talk to me.
I didn't talk to her. I talked to everybody, but
He
not
talked to
her.
everybody else but
Yeah,
me.
I think I was, I don't know, like I didn't want her to, I didn't have the confidence of her noticing that I liked her. So I thought of withdrawing a bit. I don't, maybe I was just scared or something. I don't know what to say.
I thought he was a skid because like the with all my friends, the group that I was playing with, he spoke to everybody there
Absolutely.
except me, and then I thought maybe my friends should have met him at the other center, or he's just picky, and so I chose to give him the silence that he was giving me. So he talked to my friend, but he wouldn't talk to me.
And on the last day of the camp meeting, I do remember very well. I think that's the time I got the courage to sort of get her details.
And you sent a letter?
And I sent a letter. I think those times. Yeah, of course, I said later, just to
A
sort of
long one.
a long one to kind of get us talking and just get this conversation going. So I pretty much felt something in that camp personally. That's when I felt, attracted, and I'm like, okay, I need to really know this person, but I just didn't know how to put it across. My first impression, I loved how that she was so passionate about God. I was moved by the fact that she loved God, and she was just different. I mean, I didn't really see her do a lot of makeups and all that. I saw a lot of the natural side of her, and I loved her sort of quietish. She was not really like all over the place. That for me was quite attractive. Yeah, those were the first impressions.
Impression, obviously.
Be nice to your husband.
Nice but real.
Yeah,
I
of
just thought,
course.
oh, this guy, he's God, he's a lover of God and all that, but he's a skit. So let's just leave him to love God.
Let's leave him to love his God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that took forever and quite upsetting on my end, if you want to know. Because I think after that experience, for me, it was very clear. I felt something for her, and I took the step that any man would, you know what I mean? So I think I eventually had to open up. She was still a student then at Evelyn Horn. So I had to go and just make it very clear to say, you know what, I have fallen in love with you. As a matter of fact, I fell in love with you from the time we were together in that camp. Something happened, and I was also just trying to make sure that she doesn't treat me like a brother Leo. So I also wanted to make it very clear to say I'm not brother Leo. I mean, I've got intentions. So I think for me, I made it very clear, and the rest was really on her head. She took quite some time before she could eventually say yes to that proposal. But that's what it is.
She said yes anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Along the way.
Along the way.
Took a year plus.
So he started making these frequent visits, and I was like, oh, okay, so this person who was not ready to talk to me is now visiting.
Is ready.
First there was the letters coming and whatnot, and then the visits. Uh, then there was a particular day he visited with his two friends, and then whenever I looked at them, I thought he wasn't blinking, so I said, "There's something here," and then my mind began to tell me, "Let's prepare for a yes or a no." So that's when, yeah. But like he said, it took me a little while to. Also, maybe I needed to process a lot of things. Yeah. But eventually I said yes.
Well, how did our friends and relatives take it? I think for me, my friends, I was very open with them, like those very close friends of mine. I told them, you know what, you guys are falling in love with Kay. And they loved Kay. Those that are very close to me really loved her. So it was like, like go for it. They gave me the heads up, especially one that I shared with the room at the University of Zambia. He's a very dear friend and brother of mine. I think he just believed in us, so that's how it was. I think for my relatives also, I don't think I had anybody overly question me about my decision. I think it was really just a matter of telling them that there's somebody in my life.
On my end, how my friends and relatives took it, my friends were okay with it. Of course, I also just had this one particular friend who would share so much, and yes, she was happy for me. But then I didn't know, I wasn't too sure how mom was gonna take it. So it took, I think that's one of the other reasons why it took a bit of time. Yeah, because the relationship mom and I have, I was one person who was open about everything. Like if I even said any little lie, or my mom would know. So, but she shocked me actually when I told her. She was happy. She was happy. I never realized that she was ready for me in that sense, but she was so happy for me and very supportive. And so that just gave me all the confidence and the boost I needed.
About the proposal, if I don't remember certain details, she obviously, going to add in. First of all, I need to be very, yeah, I subscribe to the idea of formally reaching, to parents. I don't really believe in this thing of just surprising. So the surprise element was there, but not that surprise where like family doesn't know. So this only happened after we had, formalized this relationship. And I did make a very risky move because I wanted to get a very beautiful, ring for the engagement. So I had to travel to Namibia, Windhoek, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
And I think that was during the 2012 Africa Cup. For me, that was some huge sacrifice. I sacrificed the football. She knows how I love
And
soccer.
his love for football. Oh my God.
Yeah, so I had to travel, and of course I was in touch with somebody who was giving me, the prices and all that was going on with the rings, and we actually learned that they were cheaper compared to, what would cost here. So fast forward, I jumped on this bus, went, got the ring. As a matter of fact, it was even so well priced that there was even a chance of me getting a neckline as well. Yeah, so I got that, watched the finals for Africa Cup. This football detail is also very important. Watched from there and, afterwards started off back to Zambia. Almost died because that
Really?
bus careered off the road. This detail also is very important. And then got back to, Lusaka, and I'd not mentioned this to many people. I spoke to my pastor then, and just one or two guys what I was doing. She didn't even know. She had no idea. And then I did talk to the sisters to say, on Sunday, whatever happens, you must make sure that she's in church.
So actually, you sent Bishop too.
Of course, even Bishop then,
He
yeah,
came to my office
yeah,
and said, "Come out." So I walked out of the office. I met
yeah,
him out. Said, "Whatever happens, come to church on Sunday."
yeah, yeah,
I have left everything I'm doing
yeah.
to come and invite you
Bishop Eddie,
personally. Yes, Bishop Eddie. So
yeah,
I said, "But Bishop, why would you?" He insisted, "Whatever happens, I want you in church on Sunday."
yeah.
And that should have given me a clue, but unfortunately it didn't.
You see what I mean? Yeah, so I spoke to the sisters, made sure they speak to mom, and I also called my, relatives. And it was Sunday. It was just like any other service going on. And I did my thing, played out some song. Worked around this thing with Bishop, and she got in. I was down on my knees, and I was asking for a hand in marriage. The rest, she probably can tell you. So I did the ring. I also did the neckline. I gave her flowers right in church at the altar.
Yes.
And I think that was one of the most beautiful things that I think I did.
It was beautiful. So there was obviously no way or opportunity. It was just so beautiful. I just had to. I was so emotional that day. But I didn't cry so much.
I didn't see the tears.
I didn't cry so much. I held it together. I said my yes with joy, with a smile,
Yeah.
other than tears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you look very beautiful. That day, I remember. It's just like yesterday.
Yes. That's good.
That ring is still there, by the way.
It is. It's bigger than the wedding band.
Yeah.
It's better. It fits better.
Yeah. So that's about the proposal, in a nutshell. Not so long. I think it happened the year before, and then the following year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the
Yeah,
proposal
after.
2012,
Yes.
and then the marriage 2013.
2013.
Wow. Go for it. About the wedding.
So
2 months.
about the wedding preps, we had, I should say, we had a very supportive team
Yeah.
and a well-informed team.
Yeah.
So for me, it was very easy to prepare into the actual wedding day. So he let things like, obviously, decor, I picked that, how the card should look,
Yeah.
and these other nitty gritties. And
Color issues.
color issues and all that. He let me pick. So I knew what I wanted and I took a go at it. We let him do the other big issues.
Yeah. The venue issues,
The venue
outdoor versus
issues.
indoor. Remember, you wanted outdoor
What did you
initially.
do?
Yeah, I said we're gonna do it. We're gonna do indoor.
He insisted. He insisted. So anyway, the compromise was okay because then I had other issues I picked. Yes, I was able to do every other thing that I wanted, except but that wasn't so much of an issue anyway because I loved the hall that we were given, the hall that he actually picked.
The banquet hall.
Yes.
Government complex banquet hall.
Yes. Then it was.
It was pretty new.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was pretty new.
Very new at the
Very
time.
new at the time,
Yeah.
and it just gave the good vibes. So I went for it. I said, okay, we can compromise on that one. But he let me do the decor. He let me pick that. He let me pick every other detail. But of course, the programming was his. You know how he likes to go extra.
Yeah. I try.
Not you try, you do it. Yeah, so he did the programming. It was lovely. He had a lot of on that day. He had a lot of surprises for me. Somewhat, he was singing about me all over the place. And
Yeah. I collected her photos from the time she was a baby, and as we're singing, they were flashing on the. I composed a song just for her on that day. I do remember, but I sang it with my friends. It's there. I'm going to play it out for you one of these days. The viewers, be on the lookout. I'm going to play it out. On the 12th anniversary. Now I'm already revealing how long we are married.
Yes.
Yeah, but then as he was speaking, I was also reminded of the fact that, we had a whole train.
Big, yes.
Like,
A whole big.
There's 8 this side.
Yes, 8.
8
And
children.
and the children were a lot.
And the matron of honor were 2.
Yes.
They were fantastic. Like, top notch. Let me embarrass myself a little. The ladies were ready than the guys. Like, we had to tell them, hey, can you wait? we are still coming. Stop somewhere. We'll tell you when. That just shows how she had a very formidable, very organized team that was helping on the other side. And it sort of just complemented everything. And the highlight, obviously, is that I only arrived like 5 days before the wedding because I was out for work in the States. So that was also a very interesting arrangement.
And if I add, people would ask me, so the bands of marriage, where people stand together. I was standing alone.
Yeah.
Then somebody walked up to me after the service and said, are you even sure he's going to come back for you? Wanting to put the seeds of doubt.
Yeah.
We've seen this. Are you sure that he's going to come back for you? But anyway, he came back.
I had to come back for you, baby. Not for too long. I think is it 2 weeks or so? Yeah. It was a very short arrangement. It was not really like a long span, just a bit of that. And we were in touch, obviously. I could see pictures from the kitchen party then, and
Are you sure that was 2 weeks or 3 weeks?
No, it was not more than 2. It was just 2 weeks, I think. Okay. Yeah.
Because all 3 stands, I did those alone, so
Anyway, we don't know. Yeah, so I think that's just how it was. I think before the wedding itself, there was that postponing, on the venue side. There was some bank which booked that place also. So there was a bit of some confusion. But whatever it is, it all worked out for our good. And I think we didn't really have much pressure. We usually laugh about this. Like for me, the time it really dawned, like, hey, this thing is here, was like maybe 4 days, the same day I arrived, and maybe just 2, 3, 4 days before. That's when I felt that, that pressure of saying like, But all this time, I'm being very honest. I think I didn't really feel that stress, because by God's grace, we had a very good support system. I think we had a couple of friends, family just stood with us. And and on the actual day, it was just amazing, a beautiful day, no pressure. Of course, the suit I wore at the reception was big. By the way, it's still there. I've refused to adjust it until I start fitting. Yeah, but it was amazing. Like she said, the program was just beautiful. We had fun. We're chatting. Of course, the events planning side of me would sometimes want to get out of the Shiwinga seat and
go and correct
things. So sometimes you just go like, hey,
sit down.
Hey. I'm like, why is everyone doing that? Look at that. Look at those. And she would like, hey. I think I had struggled with that, because for most of the time, I would really be on the other side of the fence. Now, to think this is my thing, and I had to sit down and listen to others, was a bit of a struggle. But by and large, it was all fun. We had fun. There was no pressure. We enjoyed our wedding.
We enjoyed it. We enjoyed it. God was faithful all the way.
Yeah.
And there was absolutely no pressure.
Yeah. That's just what it is. That's what it was. Yeah. Oh my God. My first impression, first of all, it was unbelievable. She looked so beautiful. I have the photos. Even when I look at them now, I'm like, Lord. So she looked so beautiful, and I got so emotional. I think when I saw her, too emotional. When I saw her just show up, I couldn't control my tears. And it even got worse when we got to the part where we're exchanging vows and whatever. It was not just crying, I mourned. Like the voice came out. There's a difference where you just, shed tears. For me, it was embarrassing, but I had to let go.
But I helped him cry as well.
Yeah. So we just cried, and it was like, Lord, you are faithful.
Thank you.
And thank you. I think we should go and watch that video.
Again.
Yeah, but that's what it was. It was very emotional, and yeah. But of course, I managed to kiss her, despite being in that state of emotion. I had to get myself round and do the right thing. April 6th, next year.
We turn 12
years
in March.
2025, it's going to be 12 years. And it feels like yesterday. We usually have to remind, like, literally, like, ish, we are really grown. For me, it's like when I look at our firstborn daughter, I'm thinking, hey, we are really grown up. Yeah, so in the 12 years, God has blessed us with 4 kids. Caris,
Kaya,
Kutemwa,
and Wanjivwa.
And all of these guys have got more than one name, by the way. We're just playing modest here. Yeah. My wife is my friend. And this is what I usually also try and speak to others. Those that we are counseling, and those that we're just mentoring. Usually one of the things we emphasize is that friendship. I think she's been my friend a few times I've disappointed her. A few times I've not turned out to be, what she expects me to be, but the friendship has always won. And I think for me, I know from the spiritual side of things, obviously, I would like to emphasize that God has been at the center of this marriage. Let's not forget it.
Yes.
But what I want to say also is that there's this deep friendship. Kay is my friend. I call her beautiful. She is my friend.
Yes. So, like he said, after the foundation is Christ, but then on that foundation, blocks must be built, and those blocks are only built well when there's good communication, and that communication, you communicate as friends. And so we've been deliberate about creating a serious friendship within ourselves. And so I am very open with what I want to say. I will not look at him like some lion somewhere. And despite his firmness,
My name means lion strong.
despite his
Strong like a lion.
firmness and all that, it's friendship.
Yeah.
So you cultivate a good relationship by just being friends, simply being friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very, it's a difficult question, but we'll try as much as possible to dig from the reality. Yeah. I think for me, what, in the words of my wife, what really suffers first when there is a conflict is communication. And I think that's the first bridge that must be mended. And also, let me make it very clear, there's no marriage that is free from conflict. I'm yet to find one. It's really how you resolve the conflict. Every relationship and marriage goes through conflicts and trials and challenging times. And so for us, again, you partly helped us respond to that. We deal with the issue in love. There's a way you can raise an issue in the place of love. Firstly, just by how you address her, if you go like, iwe make, jivi chanivi, then there's something. You're killing something. So even in how you communicate, at least you can be angered, but you can at least still call her by that love name. I can still say, baby, you hurt me. Beautiful. What you did is, so in not overly exaggerating this, I think for us, we first of all try as much as possible not to allow for a matter to be overly escalated. That's one thing. And also, I think we have this respect. I respect my wife. I do respect my wife. When we're with my friends, we normally joke, a man who doesn't have this fear for the wife is a fool. There's a way that perhaps when she tells me, I want to talk to you, I feel like the whole earth has stopped rotating. What rotates? Is it the earth or the sun? Whichever rotates, I always think that it has stopped rotating. The reason I'm saying that is because I respect her. And so one way also to deal with that is that you must love and respect your partner. And I think I try as much as possible, by God's grace, to resolve conflict in that kind of space.
So one of the things that we do with regards to conflict resolution is you need to know yourself and you need to know your partner. So I try by all means I give myself time, not very long, or I give myself a few hours. If I feel hurt in a moment, I give myself maybe 2-3 minutes to breathe, so that when I speak out of love. Because this love thing, it's a big word and sometimes misunderstood, misplaced. And if you don't deal with it well, you can crash. So what we do is we give each other 2 minutes to breathe and 2 minutes to speak to each other in a more loving manner. I can communicate and bring hurt such that he's not willing to resolve the issue, but I can also communicate and make him see what I'm trying to say, such that now he's able to see the reality and the good that I want to come out of that um, uh, communication. So it's just in the way that we speak to each other. So over time, we've learned to know how does Leo like to be spoken to, how he doesn't like to be spoken to, such that when we speak to each other, we're bringing out the best out of each other, as opposed to bringing out the angry or the lion side of him.
This thing of communication is a journey, and well, once we really fully define what communication is, it's a situation where you're not exactly just waiting for your friend to finish saying something, then you just, like listening to respond. Communication
Exactly.
in its entire definition, like she said, would mean you listening and getting the side of what is my friend trying to say, so that when you respond, you are really responding from that place of understanding what she really is saying. And that has really helped us in a way. It's like I said,
it's not easy.
It's not easy.
But it's an art that can be learned, it can be applied, and
Yes.
for us it has worked.
Yeah. So it's not something that you can neglect to say, no, we've arrived. They say what blood is to the body, so is communication to a relationship. So you can never deal without blood as you are. That's just one issue that we always want to deal with whenever we have the issue of conflict, is how do we preserve this communication? How do we fix first the communication side of things? And that's how it's been. What do I love most about this beautiful girl? I call her beautiful. She's intelligent. My wife is intelligent. And I have a way of defining intelligence. It's beyond just getting A's and A pluses. This is something I've always told her. And that's one thing that really even attracted me more to her. My wife is intelligent. Intelligent in the sense that she's able to deal with matters, beyond the academics. She's able to, I love how she loves my kids. I love how she takes care of us as a family. And just that intelligence that doesn't need one to necessarily sit in class. I'm glad because it's a bonus for me. She's been to school and all that kind of stuff. So she's intelligent, she's wise. Sometimes I even call her wisdom, and because of the kind of wisdom that she carries. Ever supportive and very practical about this. I'm a dreamer. She married a dreamer. I dream big things. Like I just believe I can do anything I want to do. And I thank God that God brought a woman like her by my side, who is able to actually let me know sometimes this dream, yes, but I think this is how you can navigate through this dream. So it's that support, it's her genuineness, it's that intelligence, it's that wisdom, and she's very beautiful. I mean, I've said it all.
Yeah. So what I love about my husband, he is, like you said, he's a dreamer. He likes to dream, and unlike me, I like to think twice about something before I do it. I'll have an idea, but I'll be slow in acting it out. But he dreams something, he wants it almost done immediately. But he allows me to help him paint it with good color. He allows he doesn't say this is my thing and stay out of it and things like that. He's very accommodative, so he brings out something on the table, he puts it on the table, and we give it structure together. So it's not like he's not, in short, he doesn't impose a lot of things, if none at all. At least he gives room to say, let's see how we can work this round. And the other thing I love about him is the way he cheers me on. He'll he, he'll cheer me on. He'll say, "Go to school." When you have children and there's work and there's all that, and you're like, maybe I can't go back to school, but he'll pat you on the back and say, you can do it. And sometimes even when we sing, when we're leading, especially worship on Sunday, I'll be like in front of him, then I'll just hear a deep voice behind, "Go, baby, go." And it just gives me that, I'm doing the right thing here. So I just love the way he cheers me on and the way he loves. Sometimes, us ladies, we like to worry about this and that, but he just, it is well, baby, it is well. So I kind of feel, oh yeah, it is well. Like my word said, it is well. So who am I to keep worrying? So he's the best dad in the whole world. He's
Oh
the
my
best husband
God.
in the whole world. He's the only. I tell,
Oh, take
yeah.
me to the moon and bring me back right now.
So that's that's what I love about him. And more, of course, but let's end there. So, what advice would we give? For me, the first thing is love God and know yourself as an individual, because you are going to go into this marriage, and you are taking something there. You are taking your heart, you are taking your mind there, you are taking your energy there. So, you need to know what you are taking and know how it's going to complement on your partner's side, how it's going to complement what you'll be doing together, because marriage should be and is a lifetime, So you're not going to enter into marriage casually and with a lot of expectations. You're just expecting to get and get. It's a give and a take. You are not going to um, go into marriage with selfish ambitions, because then if they don't come, or if any of what you are thinking of doesn't happen the way you want, then what? So love must be defined according to what the Bible says, you know, then you will be able to get through with less struggle,
You
in a
see,
nutshell.
that's why I wanted her to go first, because I knew she was going to say everything.
Right.
So I think love wins. Be in love with God. If it's a young lady, make sure when you find that man, he has to be a lover of God. It pays. I think we're living in a time where people neglect that side of things. Please, whatever you do, get somebody or fall in love with somebody who loves God. It's one of the greatest things you can ever do. And ensure that you also invest in your relationship. If you're about to get married, don't cushion yourselves. Go through counseling. And because this thing, this is growing, a trend where people just take themselves and begin a life. It matters how you start your journey. And invest a time spent in marriage counseling is an investment in marriage.
Yes.
So don't skip that. And I think she said all that she needed to say.
Sure.
Oh, and have mentors. Don't move this thing by yourselves. If you're just married or well, make sure you have people that you are accountable to. Even us, where we're seated here, it's not like we lead ourselves. There are things that unguidedly or by guidance that we draw from those that have gone ahead of us. So whatever happens, make sure that you've got, mentors and people that you can be accountable to, in your marriage or in your relationship. It's the 3rd of February. 3rd of February. Ule ndolesha. 3rd of February.
So his birthday is the 22nd of June. Yeah.
My name is Pastor Leo.
My name is Kabwe.
We are the Kakungus, and this is how we met.